cost of property taxes. So let's dive right into that. Should a homeowner protest their property taxes? What exactly does that mean?
Yeah, so last month we touched on this a little bit, and I want to dive in more on it this month because it's on the tip of everyone's tongues right now. You know, we've been talking about rising interest rates for months and months. Right now, more important, more pressing is rising property taxes. So I saw a news story just a couple days ago, and it said that on average through Dallas and Collin County, there are, maybe not on average, but there are quite a significant number of homes that are going to increase, and their property taxes are going to increase by 60 to 80%. That's huge. I've talked to people, unfortunately, that are going to have to sell their home because they can't afford the property taxes on it anymore. So this is incredibly important to talk about right now.
Yeah, I got a friend that's actually in that exact situation. He's not quite sure
How
what to do.
unfortunate is that?
He's been in this place for a while now.
Absolutely. You could own, even if you don't have a mortgage against your house, you pay it off, you're free and clear. Hey, I don't have to make payments anymore. But, you might still have to pay $12,000 a year just to keep owning it. And that's where this property tax protest really comes in. So the property tax protest is a right that is given to Texas residents via the Texas Constitution and kind of property rights that have come along since then. What happens is in November, every county has what they call a central appraisal district. This is who establishes tax rates and property values to be taxed. So in November, they send out what the tax rate is going to be for the coming year. That's normally numbers like 2.1%, 2.3%, 2.5%, something like this. Then in April, March and April, they start sending out appraisal notices. So this notice will show you what their value is that they've determined your property to be. Then they multiply that by the tax rate they previously sent out. That's your tax bill. So those have been being received for the last 3 to 4 weeks in all the counties around here. Now, there's a deadline. This deadline is going to be it's in May, so it's coming up soon, and you have to file your protest by then, file for a hearing. And the point of this is to lower your tax bill. So you're going to tell the county, that central appraisal district, that they are incorrect. Your home is not worth whatever they said it is. It's worth less, which is counterintuitive. People don't normally like to argue that their home is worth less.
Correct.
But in this case, it could save you a lot of money in taxes.
Yeah, it's such a crazy situation that people are facing right now. Now, if they go about this, what are the steps to protest it?
So the step of they've made it very easy.
Well, that's good.
Luckily, at least to start. And really, they bank on the fact that most people aren't going to do it. And unfortunately, they're correct. Most people will not go to the trouble to protest.
Yeah.
They won't think about it. A lot of people, their taxes are rolled into their mortgage, right? So they pay it via their mortgage, so they don't even think about it. And then at the end of the year, they'll get a notice from their mortgage holder that says, hey, we thought taxes were going to be this, but they're actually $1,000 more. Now you owe us a bonus $1,000 because we had to cover your taxes for you. And so that's when they catch up on it and get wise to it. And it's too late to do anything at that point. So the counties know that not many people relatively are actually going to do this, but they make it pretty easy. So hopefully after listening to this, some people that wouldn't will. What you need to do is whatever county you're in, Google that county, whether it's Dallas County, Collin County, Denton, Hunt, whatever, Tarrant, Google that county, CAD, Central Appraisal District, and then just property tax protest. You can file for the hearing online, and that will start the process for you. That's the most important start as step one. Now, step two is you're going to need to get some supporting evidence. What they're not going to do is have you show up and frankly whine about property taxes. That's not going to get you anywhere. You need to go in with data that supports this. Now, the data that you can use is also incredibly easy to get. You can contact the real estate agent that you use to buy the house, a real estate agent friend that you have if you didn't use one or have lost contact with that person. But real estate agents can run comparable sales that give, it's what they call comparative market analysis. And this shows to their data what your home is actually worth. So real estate agents don't mind doing this. It's a pretty easy process with them, and it gives them face time with potential clients, which real estate agents love. So often they want to do it for you too. So don't think you're necessarily bothering someone by asking for a comparative market analysis for this reason. Most agents are happy and willing to do it. Now, once you have that data and you have your hearing, you're going to take that data in, and that's what you're going to present. And it's estimated that if you go in with supporting evidence like that, your chance of success is 80 to 90%.
Well, that's promising.
Absolutely.
Obviously, we mentioned on the deadline, so the deadline's coming up.
Specifically, Matt, that deadline is May 15th.
Wow,
so
that's soon.
We've got, 1 week now?
Yeah, you got a week.
Right.
And like you just mentioned, this is fairly new.
They
Correct?
give you
this just came out.
approximately 30 days between the time of you get the notice in the mail to the deadline to file the protest.
Now, if somebody does decide to go about that route and protest this, does someone from the county come to inspect the home? How does that work?
No, so that's a common question as well. You know, if we start this process, is it going to be a burden?
Yeah.
Is someone going to come out and actually look at stuff and take pictures and measurements? Or, no, they're not. The simple answer is they're not. The entirety of what occurs will happen at the hearing when they look at your evidence.
Now, you kind of mentioned this before, so we'll kind of build off of it. If you protest your property taxes, does that mean that whoever's house it is worth less?
No.
Okay.
Short answer, no. The more thorough answer is, everyone, especially right now with the rising appreciation, people take a little bit of pride in the equity they have and the price point of their home, particularly if you bought a home for $250,000 a couple of years ago and now it's worth $400,000. That's pretty cool. People like thinking about that, thinking about the wealth that they've grown via the real estate. And you don't want to think about that going down. There's no fun in thinking that you're losing value or that you're doing something to reduce that equity that you have, but that's not the case.
And especially in today's market, like you said, because the way everything is.
Right. So the property tax protest itself has no bearing on what your home is actually worth. Say, in my same example that I just used, you bought it for $250 a couple of years ago. Now it's worth $400. Well, if I was going to buy this home from you, Matt, at $400 last week, and you file a property tax protest, it's not like I'm going to offer $250 in 2 weeks, and if
Correct.
I did, you wouldn't take it.
Yeah.
There's still going to be a buyer there. So it doesn't affect resale value at all. It just affects the number that they use for tax purposes.
Well, that's great. That's big time. And if they do, it seems like a process, but overall, it doesn't really turn out that way.
You have nothing to lose. It's
Okay.
a free process. You can do it online. You can get professional help in putting together the comps. And if you don't want to do even those steps that are relatively simple, there are plenty of you can find these via Google searches or ask agent for a referral possibly. There are plenty of businesses that specialize in this, and they only charge based on a percentage of what they save you. So it's not like a flat upfront fee that you lose. They only get a percentage of what they save you. So they pay for themselves in that way. And it's your right as a property owner in Texas to do this. There's no reason not to.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you're willing to, I guess, put aside that extra time and do it, it seems like more likely than not, you're going to be successful in protesting this, correct?
Absolutely. And if you aren't, if you're one of the folks that aren't,
okay,
then maybe you have a better understanding of the process and will have better luck next year. And still, at the end of the day, you're not out. Even if you hire that company to do it, if they're not successful, you're not paying them. So you're not out anything but a few minutes.
Folks, we're talking with Chris Shoemaker, the Shoemaker Mortgage Team. phone number to reach out to the fine folks there. It's 469-209-5992. That's 469-209-5992. rdhloans.com/Chris. It's rdhloans.com/Chris.